Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Don't Blame Jesus. My name's Ken.
And my name's Richard.
And we're going to continue on our journey of covering the Apostles' Creed. Part 4, Still More Delightful Theology. Rich, we have gone over, let's see here, the full Apostles' Creed. We've talked through the whole thing at the very first, and we've gone all the way through about here. So let's go to the next part. So we are covering the next couple lines. Why don't you?
Okay, and we're talking about Jesus here, where it says, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So, Rich, you've brought a photograph.
I did.
You want to share with everybody.
Yeah. And so, if you just want to go ahead and
there you go.
Okay, so we have this stone. There are letters on this stone. Actually, I got to see. There's a copy. There's the original, which is in like the Israel Museum in Jerusalem, and then there are casts that they've made, and so one of those casts is at Caesarea, and there's an amphitheater there, and so this monument, this plaque, I want to say was like discovered in 61. That's what I want to say, in the 60s. But this goes back to when Pontius Pilate was there at the dedication of the amphitheater that's there. The amphitheater is still there. It's really cool. There's Roman aqueducts. It's like, you ever get an opportunity to go and do it. So the nice thing is, well, and we're going to zoom in here, but with this, when we're talking about Jesus, we're not talking about a God who only lives in this other dimension that we have absolutely no contact with, or no context. And so we have this, and so Pontius Pilate, I did some, really cursory research, and so if you look it up in Wikipedia, they have a pretty good page on him, and so he served as governor in Judea from 27 to 37 A.D.
Wow, right in the hot spot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yep. So do you want to go ahead and?
Yeah. So I just took the image in Photoshop just to like highlight the letters a little bit. So this is like just got a little bit of darkening in the letter form so you can see them, and then there's a version here with the text actually kind of what the letters are.
Yes.
And you can see there's letters that are in brackets. So like dis Augusti, that is in brackets. Those are off the block that we don't actually see. But all these letters are the letters that are there.
Yes. So we can see the U.S. and then the P-I-L-A-T-U-S. The V's in Latin are used.
Right.
Okay, and so he's prefix of, and then Judea would have been spelled with an I instead of a J. That's just J's and I's and Y's get changed around between different languages.
Right.
And then this has to do with the dedication, right?
And that's actually a line that's kind of out. You can't really see it, but you can see on the slide there's a tiny little over, like up here. See, the E has a apostrophe
or
whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's some other
thing.
So, you can see that same thing right here. So
because it's over the E. It's not behind the E.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of on the E, kind of, Latin. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So the translation of this, if you want to look at it in English, this is what it says.
It's to the divine Augustus or Augusti, this Tiberium of Tiberius.
Yeah.
Okay. Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea, has dedicated this, and this is the amphitheater because that's where the plaque was.
Right. So we got like historical confirmation. Pontius Pilate is a real person.
Oh,
I remember when we were in Bible school, like I don't know that like there was definitely a movement of people who were saying that, we can't find Pontius Pilate in the history of Rome. We can't find him. He's not there.
They're not looking very hard.
And then later on, he's here and he's there. He's there.
Yeah.
Those arguments just don't hold up anymore.
Right. Yeah, because I want to say, because even in the Wikipedia article where it's Josephus and I want to say Pliny, and I can't remember if Tacitus is in there too, as far as like historians that wrote of him, and saying that we know more of Pontius Pilate between those historians and also the gospel writers who are writing history as well, that we know more about Pontius Pilate than we do of any of the other governors of who were in Israel at that time.
Right, and as far as I've seen and I've heard always that the prefecture of Judea was kind of like the crappy job.
Yeah, no one wanted that. I mean,
you wouldn't get a lot of historical recordos of it because people are like, don't say I went there.
Exactly. No, you didn't want to get sent there. I don't know. I mean,
and I don't want any record of it. I don't want people to know.
Yeah. If you were going to be, a U.S. ambassador to, I mean, where would you want to be an ambassador to if you could be an ambassador? Obviously, ambassadors don't have the same power as ruling, but where would you want to go?
Oh man, somewhere nice like Tahiti or
exactly,
Fiji or somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you could probably go through and no, I don't want to go to that one because they're always warring. There's a chance of having revolution or whatever, and Caesar doesn't like it when the people act up, and they act up a lot, and I just don't want to be there. I don't want to be in that. Yeah, and then there would have been nice places, and then there would have been, I mean,
this place,
and it's super important. It's a super important place.
Right. Just a hard job. It is
a hard job. It is a hard job. And with that, I mean, just where it is geography-wise, right at the, you have Europe, Asia, and Africa. I mean, to tie all of those together, I mean, it is
a hub.
It is a hub.
It's like the Atlanta airport of
yes
of the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I like that. Some people say, "Oh gosh, if you're a Christian, it's all just faith. You just have to believe on faith." And I've always thought, okay, yeah, sure, there's a little bit of faith involved, but if I'm going to make this leap of faith, I'm going to build the cliffs of knowledge as far in as I can. So that my leap is just a little step over. I'm not trying to make this massive leap. So things like this,
they exist.
And they fulfill, and they support the scriptures, and they prove that the things that we believe are not unreasonable.
Yes,
this is historical.
Right. There's history. There's archaeology. There's a whole number of different things that go through here. That's really unique. When it comes to faith and belief, et cetera. Whereas,
right.
Well,
I mean, so I'm going to see if we can go back here really fast and just look at, and I don't remember which slide it is, so probably this one. Yeah, okay. So we've kind of covered the Pontius Pilate angle. Right. He suffered under Pontius Pilate. So let me go to. We're going to take the story of the Christ's crucifixion through the Matthew account, Matthew chapter 27. In Matthew 27, verse 24 through 26, it says this: Pilate saw that he wasn't getting anywhere and that a riot was developing, so he sent for a bowl of water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I'm innocent of this man's blood. The responsibility is yours." And all the people yelled back, "We will take responsibility for his death, we and our children." So Pilate released Barabbas to them and ordered Jesus flogged with a lead-tipped whip and turned him over to the Roman soldiers to be crucified.
Yeah.
So he definitely suffered.
Yes.
Just even if all we got was the flogging.
Oh yeah. I can't because that cat of nine tails would have been that, and so to have metal and glass and bone shards and stuff like that are in it, and just the amount of ripping and tearing and just I can't.
People often did not survive that.
Right.
Just so people know.
Right.
So I mean, I'm going. Jesus was, living outdoors, walking everywhere, probably in pretty good shape. If he wasn't, I don't think he could have lived through this and then carried his cross. And even then, we find out in the same chapter that he couldn't carry his cross the whole way, and they had to rely on someone else. But just how brutal that whipping was.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, Pilate's he's in a terrible situation. He's in a terrible situation.
Yeah.
One, he's Roman, right?
Right.
And like, this is your problem, not my problem. Oh, you're coming to me because legally you can't do something that you want to do, right? And that's because they weren't allowed to practice, capital punishment.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, they're throwing, because there's another part where like, well, you're no friend of Caesar's.
Oh, man.
Which is like to be a friend of Caesar's, that's like super important. Not to be a friend of Caesar, in Rome, that would be like, that's awful. Okay. And then also, if you're going to have a riot on your hand, like, the Roman peace was a big deal. And it's like, if you got to have a riot, then I got to, we're going to have to move in troops, et cetera, to put all this stuff down.
The report is going to go back.
Exactly. There's going to, there's certain level of bureaucracy and a certain level of just Roman brutality, right? And so if they
also, it's brutality, highly efficient.
Oh, absolutely.
Gets the job done quick.
It does. That's the reason why they conquered everything that they conquered.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of stuff that they conquered.
Yeah.
Because a couple years ago, I got a chance to go over to Europe, right? And so I'd already seen like Roman stuff in Israel, okay?
Sure.
And then I'm seeing Roman stuff on the Isle of Malta. And then I'm seeing Roman stuff in Spain. And of course I see Roman stuff that's in Italy. And I think we saw Roman stuff that was in Croatia. And I'm like, good golly, these guys get around. They build a lot of monuments. And the stuff that they made is tough enough that there's ruins everywhere.
Well, that's a very interesting thing. I know that like America sends troops all over the place,
right?
Whether that's good or bad.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to get on an airliner and fly somewhere and be in a camp for a year or two or whatever, and then fly home. But like these guys, these Roman centurions that were sent places, it was not an easy trip.
No.
To get from Rome to Croatia.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah.
To get to any of these places.
Right.
Takes months.
Right. I'm not sure that they had troop carriers.
No.
I think
you walked it.
Guess what? March.
Yeah.
March. Oh, and the other one too, because of course, having been in the UK, you got Hadrian's Wall, right, which is between England and Scotland, and that's Roman, right? And so and in London, there's all these Roman. Well, because it was Londinium. I mean, it was originally a Roman city, and so I mean, they were just like,
it's just crazy.
Yeah, let's go everywhere and conquer everywhere and hold everything because they could.
Yeah.
So that's like that kind of strength, and obviously you didn't want to mess with that, and so he's in this position and he's got to represent, and if he's not representing, or he's in this position, there's certain duties that he's got to do, and there's this tightrope he's got to walk too, because the Romans, I want to say it's the Romans, I can't remember if it's the Greeks, but anyway, they install Herod,
right?
Okay, and Herod is he's not Jewish. Right. I mean, he's from Idumea, and so he's brought in, and then his family is put in place, because they probably pay tribute and whatever.
Of course, yeah.
And so they're getting ruled by people that the Jews really are getting ruled there by people that they don't like and that don't represent them, and so so they would be, upset and subjected, and so combination of all these different tensions that are there. Yeah. All right. Anything else you got on that?
Well, I think that's pretty good, and I wasn't going to go through all of the details of the crucifixion. I mean, I think we kind of get that.
Yeah. Well, and I'd recommend too, if anybody wants to know more on that, you can Google, and you can probably find it in a number of different locations. A physician looks at the crucifixion.
Oh, well, we'll find a link for that. We'll put that in the
Okay.
We will put that in the description with that video, so you can watch it. We'll find it and we'll put it in there. That won't be a problem. That is a very valuable video for people to watch.
I haven't ever watched it as a video. I only read it.
Oh, well, whatever. We can get something over there.
Yeah.
So we're not going to cover like the whole crucifixion per se. We've covered that, he suffered under Pontius Pilate and he died. I think everyone can agree Jesus died on the cross. He didn't swoon, he didn't whatever. The spear in the side and blood and water flowed shows death with separation of plasma and red blood cells. So there's no doubt that he was dead. The other thing that it says, and he was buried. And so that portion of the story, we're going to pick back up in verse 57. And it says, as evening approached, so Jesus is dead, as evening approached, Joseph, a rich man from Arimathea, who had become a follower of Jesus, went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. And Pilate issued an order to release it to him. So Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a long sheet of clean linen cloth. He placed it in his own new tomb, which had been carved out of the rock, and then he rolled a great stone across the entrance and left. Both Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting across from the tomb and watching. So here we go. We've got the eyewitness accounts of women. Because like this stuff happened in secret, right? Or mostly in secret. If Joseph was a follower, he probably would have told him later. I did this. I went and I got the body. Whatever. Yeah. But the women saw it and could go back immediately and say, okay, we saw the body went here. This guy did it. That's where he is. He is buried. But that's not enough for the Jews. They're not convinced. They're still not convinced.
Well, yeah. Well, there's also the other part too, where we're going to go ahead and hit it in the next part.
Yeah.
There, but obviously, with this part, I mean, this is like they're looking at this as being really anticlimactic,
right?
Right, because Jesus comes in, he's the Messiah. You got the triumphal entry. He's going to restore everything to Israel. They're not seeing that the prophecies are going to be done in two parts.
Yeah,
I mean, like nobody saw that at that time. That wasn't their expectation. And then all of a sudden, everything comes down, and they are just they're hopeless. This is not what there is no expectations here of. Even though he told them they was going to resurrect, like in one ear, out the other. It doesn't come back until like, oh yeah, I get it now. Yeah, now it makes sense. So anyway, do you want to go on to the?
Yeah. So there he is. He's in the tomb. The women have seen it. We'll pick up in 62 then through the end, 62 through 66. The next day, on the Sabbath, the leading priests and Pharisees went to see Pilate. They told him, "Sir, we remember what that deceiver once said while he was still alive. Quote, after 3 days, I will rise from the dead." Boy, they got it.
Yeah. No,
they got it.
Like they were. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how people listen sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, they heard it. They didn't want to hear it. And the other people who
were supposed to get it.
Yeah, they weren't. They were.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So he said, after 3 days, I will rise from the dead. So we request that you seal the tomb until the third day. This will prevent his disciples from coming and stealing his body and then telling everyone he was raised from the dead. If that happens, we'll be worse off than we were at the first. Pilate replied, "Take guards and secure it the best you can." So they sealed the tomb and posted guards to protect it. Okay. So, I mean, we have to be pretty certain that he was in a tomb and he was dead.
Yes.
I think that, from a historical standpoint and from an eyewitness standpoint, harmonizing all the Gospels, I think it's pretty clear that, I think that people who do investigations for a living kind of know how eyewitness testimony goes and what things can and cannot be the same and still be, like that's what you expect. You don't expect it to be completely exact. If you got two people that say exactly the same words, they rehearsed it.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So you've got eyewitness accounts that don't parrot each other exactly, but the facts are still corroborated, which I think is God's pretty darn smart to be able to pull that off. And so they did. They put him in a tomb. They sealed it, and that was to be the end of it.
Do you want to talk about the guards and the sealing and any of that?
Are you talking about like at the resurrection when the guards told them what happened?
No, I just meant like, who are these guards and what is this seal?
Oh, well, go ahead.
Okay. So these guards, these are going to be Roman guards.
Right.
right? Rather than, I mean, there are Jewish guards that they had that were like temple guards.
Temple, yeah.
Right. But I mean, these are going to be more your special ops kind of
since
guys.
Pilate said take guards, he's basically saying take my guards.
Take these ones.
Okay, I get where you're going.
Okay, and then this seal isn't like, and then we put it shut, and it's like as if we licked an envelope.
Yeah. Police tape.
Yeah, no. This seal is a Roman seal. You break this seal, death. Yes,
Yep.
You incur, the full wrath of Rome.
Yeah.
Nobody wants the full wrath of Rome. So like when you see that, let me step back. I don't want to accidentally bump it.
Yeah. I leaned on the stone and it tipped over and broke the seal. And no, oy vey, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
No, you don't want that.
Yeah. All right.
No, that is pretty true. I think, I don't know. I don't think in the rest of the discussion of the Apostles' Creed that we're going to cover when the Jews report, or when the Roman guards told them what happened. Like, okay, we were there, we saw a great light, the stone was rolled away, we all fell down. That was crazy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that the Jews said, listen, just tell them that you fell asleep.
And we'll get you out of trouble.
We'll make sure you're not going to get in trouble, because if you, like with the seal, you break the seal, you're dead.
Right. And
you fall asleep on your watch duty, you're dead.
Yes.
That is not acceptable.
Well, and the other thing too is I can't remember where the story is in the book of Acts, but there are Roman guards who goof up.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't remember if it was when Peter got out of jail or whatever, but there were guards who were executed because so-and-so got away. Yeah. Right. And so like execution of guards, that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's literally a thing.
Serious.
So if you
serious
so it's not like, he got fired and he doesn't get a pension anymore, right? And he's not invited to
you deserve to lose your job.
Yeah, right. And it's not that it's like, you can't come to the company picnic anymore. But it is like, I mean, death and probably ugly public death, right? Because that's
absolutely. Not a little secret quick death, and not a bullet to the head. It's going to be not good.
No,
you're not going to like it.
It'll be very much seems like a very bloody time.
Oh, totally, dude.
And so.
Well, that's the thing is, now we've got the remote warfare where we're dropping bombs on people a long ways away, and we don't even see them.
No.
Or we snipe them from a mile away.
Right. If we do see them.
Back then, man, you were in someone's grill with a sword.
Yes.
There wasn't.
Yes.
It was never fast. It was never easy. It was never clean. It
was
always a mess.
Yes. Well, and they in Rome loved making examples.
Yeah.
They ruled by fear. Like the Roman peace was like everybody's at peace because everybody's afraid, right? And so that's how we do it. And then we have peace, and then nobody fights because everybody's worried about getting whacked. And so it's all, I'll get along. Sure, I'll get along. So
that's awesome.
Anything else?
No, I think that's pretty good. That's a good stopping point. We've, Jesus is now crucified and in the tomb.
Yeah.
And we'll pick up from there.
Yeah, we got to pick up from there because that's a terrible place to end. But fortunately,
we're not stopping there.
But Paul Harvey, right? At the end, that's the story, right? Yeah. So we'll hit that next time.
Awesome.
Because there's a lot that we have to unpack for the next one, so we couldn't do that. So I think it was good. And then if you guys have any questions, or if you liked it, or whatever, or like, hey, and when you get done with the Apostles' Creed, can you do X, Y, and Z, or whatever?
Yeah.
Please comment. Please share. Subscribe.
Do all the social things.
Do all of it.
If you know of somebody who would like what we're doing, share it with them.
Yeah, say hi.
It's free.
Whatever. Yes. Do it all. There's buttons to push. Push them.
Yeah, push those buttons. Social buttons. So anyway, like we always like to say, if you heard us say anything stupid, remember, don't blame Jesus. That was our fault.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
All right. This is episode 11, The Apostles' Creed, part 4, Still More Delightful Theology.
Hey, high five. I just want to let you know that supposedly most podcasts never get past 10.
Hey, we did 11.
We did 11. We did 11.
Something.
Yeah.
That's something. Well, hey, we did 45 last time.
And we did. So, then we're up to 56.
Whew, that's a lot of output.
It is.
It's a lot of output. I don't know if it's all great, but we got a lot out there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.